before we begin. Because this is probably one of the most important streams I've ever done. I apologize, I'm just trying to... Hello, George Frankie! Welcome to a very special, old-timey stream. My name is Brian of Chamber of the Wraith, and I'm just adding all of the folks that I think need to be in, because we're going live with Injustice Gods Among Us! Yes, that Injustice Gods Among Us. And there's actually a very good reason why we are here with Injustice Gods Among Us. It's because the game is free for this week. And when I say free, I mean free to own. And it is the Ultimate Edition, which means you get everything. If we go into the archives, which we'll be talking mostly about Moses, I just want to get more people here first. You get every character, including DLC, off the hop, for free. That's huge, because that means... This means that you don't have to buy anything. This game is just, gimme, boom. And to be completely frank, I don't think you can pick a much better fighting game from 2013 that you can just make free than Injustice Gods Among Us. Straight up, fully 100% honest. You can't go wrong with that. I just want to make sure that I got people coming in. Because I'm going to be using this as a lesson-based thing as well. I want as many people in as possible. Alright. Oh yeah, I forgot that even if you're in the menus, it'll just take you straight back to this point. Ah! This is what it's like to be an amateur streamer, folks. Here, we'll go in here. Just view my hero card. View my credentials for this version. Oh wow, did I really play the most amount of Solomon Grundy? That's surprising. Not at all what I was expecting. Not at all what I was expecting. You know what? I'm going to do a bit of a roll call. Comment if you are here on YouTube! So that I can know what's going on. Yeah, see... Where's Grundy at? Solomon? Never played big characters like this, the opposite of my playstyle. So you're more of a quick and speedy kind of guy. Alright. Very well noted, Georgie. Just want to tag one last person, because I'm pretty sure they're not seeing this. I'm here to learn some combos. Hello, Melina Conum. All bow before the Conum. Alright, so. Playstyle is semi-damage output, fast, or agile and flashy. Noted. Okay, so the first part of the stream is that we're just going to go over modes really quick, because if somebody's tuning in and has never played an Injustice game before, we'll clear through this real fast. Story mode. Go in here, you do your story. and you go through all of your fights. You can pick up at any point, but it's really slow unless you press these buttons to go to different chapters and such. Battles! This is where you go if you want to just do offline battles. You have your basic arcade. This is how you get your arcade endings. You only fight heroes. You only fight villains. You're poisoned. You've got Survivor. I don't remember exactly how you unlock these. Get locked into mirror matches. I wish these had come back, but you get the idea. Star Labs, the Injustice version of the Challenge Tower from Mortal Kombat 9. You get with the DLC, you have 300 different challenges to try and deal with. It's rough, some of these, but I mean, if you're looking for a challenge, that's where you go. Single Fight. This was the first NetherRealm game. Which Injustice do I like more? Personally, I like 2 a little bit more. However, this being free, there's still a lot to like about this. About this particular game. But we'll get to that later. But like I said, this is the first NetherRealm game to have a single fight. Mortal Kombat 9 didn't have this, so this was what really made me play Injustice more, because I didn't have to go through the arcade every time. Now they need to make MK9 free. And available for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I have it on PC, so that's irrelevant, but eh. Training! We'll be sitting in here a lot, because we'll be going through a lot of characters. But then you have your multiplayer. Local, online, we'll probably touch online later. Settings, controls, audio-video settings, your WBID, and various gameplay settings. And yes, there is a mode specifically for zombie characters. I don't know how many people are going to know this, but there. Zombie mode is a thing. This was an add-on. I don't remember if it was paid or free, but there's zombie mode for all the characters in the game. Hero card, view and customize. The archives, this is like your collection from Mortal Kombat 11 or Mortal Kombat X. You can buy XP boosts with access cards. Okay, yeah, you pick them up through access cards in here. And then you also pick up a hero card pack. Read up on characters and check out their, it's almost statuesque if you want to look at the character models. Concept art unlocks, music unlocks. You can look at the backgrounds for various things. I don't remember exactly how this works. Ooh. Oh, I didn't know you could do this. That's sick. Alright. So, okay, that's cool. Learned something. And then you can also unlock costumes, but I don't think you necessarily need to do this because I'm pretty sure they all come unlocked anyway, so irrelevant. But now, I've gone through all of the jibber-jabber, yibber-yabber, blah-blah-blah-blah stuff. You know, the boring shit. Now it's time for the real stuff. There is a tutorial in this game. I highly recommend, if there's ever a tutorial in a fighting game, slog through this. I know they're not the greatest, but put the effort in, and at least you'll have an idea as to what's going on. We'll go into practice mode now, but so that I can show you some general mechanics, and we'll use Batman versus the Joker to kind of just illustrate them, and we'll just go into the Batcave. Again, this is just a very quick overview first, for anybody who doesn't know exactly what's going on, what are Injustice's mechanics, and all of that stuff. So, the first thing you might notice is that the characters seem quite small. If you're from Mortal Kombat and haven't played Injustice, this is full screen. And this is the first sign that Injustice is very zoner friendly. If you play zoning characters and keep away characters, this is the game for you. Look at all the space I have. Batman has a pretty good forward dash. He still has to do 3 of them in order to make it all the way over there. And because this is an older game, there's no frame data look-ats. There's kind of a prototype thing going on, but some of the frame data is not terribly accurate. But this is also the first game that lets you tag moves, so you'll be seeing some of that later on as well. You get various AI options, record, playback. A lot of the things that you would have seen in NRS Practice first showed up in here. Certain things like having the clash system, which we're going to turn on to talk about this as well. All of your character's buttons you have 3 attack buttons. You don't have 4 connected to a limb like Mortal Kombat. You have, low-key, I love zoning characters, but I still love combos. Zatanna is a good mix. She is, and we'll get to her at some point in this video, in this stream. But we're going to start with just the basics. So your basics: light, medium, heavy. That's 1, 2, and 3 on the notations. Because I'm playing on PS4, it'll be square, triangle, and X. But we'll use numbers to make it easier to denote. And then 4, or circle, is your character's trait. Every character has a unique trait that allows them to do certain things. We'll talk more about those later. Your grab button is L1, and the R1 button when you're near certain things is your interact. Injustice 1 is the first NetherRealm game to have interactables, and some of them are disgusting. We're going to talk about those as well. Also, the first thing, if you're picking this up for the first time, trying to figure out how to play this game, you're figuring out, where's my block button? You don't have one. Your block is... Injustice is back to block. Most fighting games are like this. Street Fighter, Tekken, most fighting games feature a back to block system in order to block attacks. So, for instance, if I were to set the Joker up just to block... If I can remember how to do that. You have to block by going backwards. And then if you want to crouch block, that's how you do that. 90% of the time, if you want to block, you crouch block in Injustice, because this has an added benefit that is different from Mortal Kombat 11 in particular. Highs go over crouches, right? And that includes throws. And because you're not doing a block animation with the block button, throws will whiff. Throws will whiff on crouching characters. If they actually stay crouching. Here, I'll show you what that looks like real quick. Oh, wait, what? I'm mistaken. I remember them, I guess... okay. That's my bad. I forgot that it doesn't work like that. I thought it did, but I'm mistaken. My apologies. See, even teachers can get it wrong every once in a while. So... like I said, it's back to block. This will take some getting used to, but that will be, but I'm sure it'll be a quick figure out for you guys, because you guys are smart cookies. I'm trying to think, is there anything else that I need to talk about right off the cuff? Throw thing. Oh, let's talk about one of Injustice's most unique sort of move, because Mortal Kombat doesn't have anything like this. When you press forward or back heavy, every character gets a launcher. You have an overhead launcher, and you have a mid-back wall bounce, it's called. Because if you're against the wall, it would make them bounce off the wall. However, if you're close enough to a certain end of the stage, you get a stage transition. These, in Injustice 1, always do 30% damage. Always. This was in one of the last patches of the game before they went Ultimate. They made all the stage transitions do 30%. Some of them did 25, others did upwards of 38. It was ridiculous. But they standardized it to be 30%, which is about the same amount of damage as a super move. And that leads us into the meter discussion after this super move, because, you know, super moves are cool. Super moves, not X-rays. Because Injustice is actually rated T for teen. Okay, it looks like Clash is actually off? Oh, because I turned it on in practice. So. Okay, so I can still do that. Alright, so you'll notice that as well that meter in Injustice works a little bit differently than Mortal Kombat 9X and definitely Mortal Kombat 11. You'll notice there's 4 bars, not 3. If you've not played Injustice 2, this might seem weird to you. But that's because a lot of characters don't have native stuns on their own moves. So Batman, he doesn't really have one. All of his special moves knock down in some capacity. Right? However, he can spend bar on his grapple to get a combo. And that means you can get your combos that way. Just a quick sort of concept. And this was probably where Scorpion needing to burn meter to get a combo in Mortal Kombat came from. And we'll actually get to Scorpion at a certain point because he broke the game when he came out. He straight up broke the game when he came out because he had, let's say, a workaround around the back-to-block system in a NetherRealm game. But that's neither here nor there. Since we're here, actually, why don't we talk about Batman? Because Batman is probably going to be the character that you can only tag 6 moves at a time in this, right? Yeah, so that's the other thing with tags. You can only tag 6 at a time. You can't tag 10. And we'll save those for combo attacks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll start there for now. Batman is your jack of all trades. This is the character that he and Superman are the characters you see and you go to immediately because they're the most iconic, and they're the Scorpion and Sub-Zero of this game. They're the ones that you look at and go, cool, they're here, what can I do? They're your skeleton key into the game. And Batman is a perfect example of that. He doesn't excel at anything, but he's pretty good at a lot. Actually, the one thing he does excel at is cross-ups. I'll be right back. After I'm done washing dishes. Cool thing, Melina. I'll try and keep you updated. Feel free to ask what we missed in the process. What was I saying? So that's the other thing too. When you are blocking, you have to mind what's called a cross-up in this game. Now, cross-ups in Mortal Kombat aren't actually that bad because with the block button, you'll always block them. But a deep cross-up like this is a reversal of the block. Because remember, you want to put back to block, but Batman's switching sides on you, allowing him a combo for crossing you up, as an example. So that's why Batman is notorious for this cross-up, because it's his jump 2. And in this game, jumping attacks have different properties. You have jumping light, which just kind of staggers, very quick, no big deal. Your jumping 2 is what you should be going for to start your combos if you're going to be jumping, because it's the same damage scaling as a jumping light, except jumping lights generally work better at intercepting in the air because they're really fast. Hello, Koisi! Welcome to the Learn Dojo thing. But that's what you want for damage. You want a good jump 2, and Batman's is really strong. That was 3 bar for 38%. It kind of gets nuts. But there's an example, right? And your jumping heavies knock down, but do the same amount of damage. And if you're really good, you can get a combo off of these. I wouldn't. Hello, Master Sindel. Oh, geez. George and Koisi know each other. Good times, good times. Alright, so let's talk Batman. His Injustice, string, leaves him standing and starts off of a really fast high. This is your general combo extender on the ground, because there aren't breakers in Injustice 1. That's the important thing. There's no way to break out of a combo if you're juggling.
Get down. Get down.
Unless you have Clash ready, and we'll get to that later. But this is your just general real quick hit confirm. You get this into combos.
Get down.
And allows you to just do combos, right? In Vengeance is Trixie. There's an overhead in the middle, so this is faster and safer, but this one does slightly less damage, pops up with an overhead. So you can do... and then get travel that way. And you can even push opponents towards the stage and potentially get a stage transition that way. Tricky Bat is kind of similar, Tricky Bat is one of the is a tricky string. He uses a Batarang to get himself some distance, and this will not come out on whiff, but on hit it comes out and helps Batman stay safe. Mind Games trades the safety for a low launch. And that leads us next to High Tech, which is Batman's native mixed string. It starts off from a really quick low, and you can do Darkness to get a launch, or High Tech to mix them up with an overhead knockdown, which can lead to Oki situations. You dash in and then throw them, activate your trait, what have you. One thing to keep in mind about Batman as well, or rather Injustice in general, is that uppercuts are combo starters as well. Not the greatest because they actually scale pretty roughly, but this is a good way to just quickly launch the opponent to cancel into a special move.
Get down.
Just as a hypothetical example. Now let's move on to the next set of combos, to the next set of strings, which is Caped Crusader, which I've been doing, Stay Down, and Winged Avenger. Ooh, and then there's Bounce Cancels. Okay, I gotta talk about Bounce Cancels. Okay, Bounce Cancels real fast, because I forgot about this. In Injustice 1 and 2, but most of this, the nice thing about Injustice 2 is that Injustice 2 is legacy, so mechanically speaking, it's very similar. So you can expect, if you pick up Batman in Injustice 1 and like him, and play Batman in Injustice 2, it's gonna feel very similar. So that's really helpful. But back to Injustice 1, you can spend 2 bar to cancel into one of your bounces right away. In order to get some nice damage. Now this costs 2 bar. This always costs about 2 bar of meter. Hold on, I'm gonna just quickly check to see if the chat froze or anything. Go to live. I'm not seeing any comments. Where's my live chat? There it is. Okay. Just want to make sure that I just wish to make sure that chat didn't freeze and it looks like it did. Excellent. But of course the caveat is that you need at least 2 bar to do this. But since you can amplify this in a string, you might be wondering if you can amplify the bounces on their own. Yes, you can. For 1 bar. And what this does is that originally, it just gave armor. That's all it did. Nothing too fancy. But, in about midway through the game's life, I think around the time that Lobo came out, they added a 50% boost while you have armor. So if Joker were to break through my armor with an uppercut, I'd get back to 11%. But if I land this without getting hit, I get 16.5% launchers, which is really good. 16.5% is stronger than uppercuts in Mortal Kombat 11. It's really good. And this runs on a percentage system. Everybody has 100% health, so this is very traditional. Next we have Caped Crusader, which comes off of a mid. A mid that becomes a high, which means if you block this and they overcommit, you can punish the high. But if you are too slow, they get a launcher. And now we can talk about Stay Down and Winged Avenger. Stay Down is a mid-overhead that gives Batman space to throw projectiles, which against characters that don't have projectiles, because this is pretty much the first game where there were characters that didn't really have projectiles, where there are characters that don't have projectiles, i.e. Bane, but we'll get to him later. Zoning them out can be really good. So ending a combo with this is a really good way for Batman to stay at range and just keep chucking batarangs all day, waiting for his opportunity to zip back in and get his combos. And continue rinse and repeat. Winged Avenger acts kind of similarly. It comes off of an advancing mid and launches the opponent. Now you don't really get anything off of this, but it's just a nice way to kind of end combos and get some distance. Now let's talk special moves, because that's key for Batman. I've kind of been doing them a little bit throughout, but these are important to note, and it looks like Perry didn't tag. So, nah, I'm going to drop Scatter Bombs, because that's a similar input. So, Straight Grapple. You've seen me do this before. It's basically a reverse Scorpion Spear. Batman goes in and zips towards you. He's not safe when he does this at close range on block. So if, say, the Joker were to block, I'm left open. See how unsafe I am? This means that he gets a punish. And if I do it at full screen, I'm about as unsafe which means that at full screen I'm basically safe. But I would not recommend just throwing this out willy-nilly. I would throw this out, again, during a basement combo. So, land Injustice, go in here, do a background bounce, and then do Kicked Wonder, or whatever the Batarang thing is. Back 2-3. Sky Grapple is very similar, except it's an anti-air, and it does damage. Amplify for a little less damage, but you're trading that little bit of damage for a pop-up, so it works out really well in the end. But at very, very close range, this will catch. But again, you have to basically be touching your opponent, and they can crouch this, so don't do this raw. Although it is funny. Batarang, in Injustice 1, Batarang is a double projectile, so it breaks armor off the cuff. And then he can amplify at any time to make them explode. This helps keep Batman safe when he's caught into a block string. If he's got meter, he can do this to keep himself safe, catch you off guard, because he can make them explode at any time, no matter how close he is. So, gotta be careful about that. Up Batarang catches opponents airborne, and launches when really close. So, if you're really good, you can kind of go in for combos that way. I don't use up Batarang that often, but if I catch somebody jumping with this, you better believe I'm going to amplify them, launch them, punish them for jumping in on me. This is the same input as the scatter bombs, which are aerial things. Very quick. Just catch them. This isn't going to combo or anything. Just to catch them, if they want to try and punish you, they'll try to block your jump in and punish, and then, surprise, you get scatter bombs in the face. Also really good for air-to-air trades. If Joker were to jump at you and Batman jumps at you, you do you throw your glitter, and they get knocked down to the ground. Just like that. Slide kick is a quick way for Batman to kind of advance. If he connects this from max range, he's left plus. But if he is... But while the opponent can't exactly punish him when he gets up from this range as well, if they block him, he's punishable. And that's kind of Batman's main weakness. A lot of his key specials can be punished on block. And some of you people who hate Aaron Black would probably be like, wait a minute, this is Aaron Black's slide. And it kind of is. But instead of throwing a puddle or doing guns or whatever, he does this. To amplify. To damage the opponent, get some range, and keep the side switch. So if Batman, for instance, were, say, in the corner, like this, suppose that Batman's in the corner. Not Aaron Black! I know. But once he does that, he side switches, and now he has the corner. And then he can do whatever he wants there. Cape Parry, I'm going to have to record Joker for this one, is what you would expect. It's a parry. It's out for a long time. It parries. It does about the same damage as a throw, if not slightly more. And I believe it is active on frame 4 in this game. Okay, yeah, that can't be right. There's no way that this is a 1-frame parry. It's probably closer to 3. And he kind of gets oaky on this way. It'll counter high, mid, and overhead attacks with a damaging takedown. The takedown animation, they basically just stole from Arkham City, because NetherRealm worked on a mobile version of Arkham City. Character power, this is going to be big. And we're going to go back to mid-screen for this one, because I don't want to be trapped in the corner yet. Where was that option? I always forget where that option is here. Here it is. Alright, so Batman is unique in that he can double jump. He can double jump into a glide, or just double jump. And he can transition from a straight jump into whatever he wants to. He's got a lot of aerial maneuverability. And if he is gliding, he gets a couple of options off of this. He gets a glide kick, which can cross up really nicely and allow for combos. Or he could go for a overhead that knocks down and sends the opponent sliding. So, okay. Now for his character trait. These little bats. These make Batman really good as long as they're active. So, launch them normally, it just does a little bit of damage. It doesn't seem that great. But where it's really strong is in stuff like this. In enhancing combos. Remember, that's 26%. Whereas this is 23%. And he basically got that little extra damage just from his bats. Most of the time, if you're Batman, you'll start with 3 bats and then you'll launch them into your combo. Your bats will regenerate over time, as you can see at the icon at the bottom right, on the bottom left there. And now I have 1 bat. Now I can use this to get my stuff back. If I manage to get all 3 bats back, I can do Bat Swarm, which kind of surrounds Batman with the bats. And if I touch the opponent with this, I get a 7% damaging launcher. Which I don't think I can actually do in combos. No, I can't really. I just launched the bats. But that's basically Batman. He's the kind of character that is just general, easy to pick up. Let's go. Let's figure him out. He's your starting point. I would highly recommend, if you're just starting Injustice for the first time and you don't have a character in mind, pick up Batman. Why not? And while we're in his Batcave, we're going to go over the interactables here as well. Every time we first visit a stage, I'll go through the interactables. So first up, you get barrels that you can throw at the opponent. And no, your eyes did not deceive you. That was unblockable for 16% damage. The barrels are really strong in this game to help with zoning. And power characters, that's another thing we'll talk about, is the classes of characters. We'll talk about that when we get to another character. We'll interact with it differently. Instead of rolling it, they might throw it straight. They'll throw it kind of straight. This generator, Batman can blow up for 15% damage and expose the wires. Power characters can expose the wires too, but they do it by slamming the generator down instead. And when the wires are exposed, you get a combo off of it that way. And finally, we have these doors. These are your escapes. Only Acrobat or Gadget characters, because there's 3 classes in this game, can use these. And since Batman is a Gadget character, if he presses down and interact, he gets a launcher. An unblockable 18% damage launcher. Which is really good because that means easy transition. Boom. And when I say easy transition, I mean easy transition. That's 36% damage because an opponent decided to get too close. There is an interactable that is here, but they don't come right away. Some interactables do this where they don't pop out right away. You kind of have to destroy shit and then you get something going. The back computer is a background bounce. Every character can use these background bounces to kind of extend combos. See what I mean? I'm gonna see if I can maybe... Oh, you know what might work? Is if I do a super move. And that's a good time to talk about Batman's super move. It's a tracking full screen mid, which you can combo into if we don't get those grenades to come out. Spoiler alert. Okay, we'll do it again. This should hit. Aw, damn it. this should do it. There, and a combo. Unfortunately, you can't skip these in the training mode like you can in Mortal Kombat 11, so... Okay, it looks like those grenades don't want to come out in training mode, so... unfortunately, I'll just have to tell you what they do. The grenades, there will be 2 back grenades that will come out of those pods in the back there when enough destruction has occurred. When those come out, you pick them up and you get 2 15% damaging projectiles. But if you get hit, you lose those projectiles. Over here, you have 18% damaging Batmobile rockets because, you know, I don't use guns, but I sure as hell will use a missile launcher. And if I remember correctly, power characters can't use this, but they can use the grenades, so keep that in mind. That's the Batcave, and that's Batman in a nutshell. I'm actually going to switch characters because we're going to go focus on the heroes because Joker's not a power character. Although, actually, now that I think about it, there is something unique about Batman that we'll talk about later. Superman versus Lex Luthor. And we are going to go to Metropolis for this one, because Metropolis is a very unique stage in and of itself. By the way, if you guys have any questions, comments, or whatever, don't be afraid to voice them, and then I will try to answer your questions in a prudent-ish manner. Batman S tier? No. Top 15? That's arguable. So, I would put him about mid to mid-high tier. He's not godlike, because some of the characters in this game are obscene, but, you know, others like Lex Luthor are not. This was when NetherRealm was still trying to figure out how matchups worked, and certain characters actually had a 9-1 matchup, which means with players of equal skill, the one character has a 90% chance to win the fight, and we might talk about that later. Superman is your other jack of all trades, but he's very different in that he's a power character. He's Superman. So he plays very differently from... He'll play very differently from Batman in a few key ways. And I actually tagged a normal here because he has a fairly unique one. This is the normal range of his sweep. It's not the greatest. He sweeps with his fist. I know it's strange. But he can, from about here, move forward and kind of... It's a flying low. It's what you would expect. You get in that way and kind of avoid projectiles. Now, Superman doesn't have a whole lot of strings on his own. He just straight up doesn't. But that does not mean he isn't good. Great Purge is like Batman's Batman's 112. Very basic, very quick string that can be special canceled at any time into whatever you want. Kryptonite Bash trades combo ability for an overhead wallop that floors the opponent. So that's very helpful. Last Sun is a pseudo launcher, or is a launcher, which I can't quite get it into Super Breath, but you can do stuff from Last Sun. Steel Rush. Oh, wait. Do you have an idea for the best character in this game? I kind of do, actually. I kind of do. It really depends mostly on the situation, but I can tell you for sure that some of the best characters in the game are Zod, Batgirl, and... Yeah, Zod, Batgirl, and... I have to look at the list again. I think what I'll do is I'll leave it at Zod and Batgirl for now and answer your question at a later time, George. Thank you for asking. Man of Steel. This is just a quick... you're not going to get much off of this, but you can use the Trixie Low to kind of get your Super Breath, which is going to be important later. Solitude Strikes is what makes people say Superman is brain dead, because advancing mid that launches, you just do this. You just do this. Hello, Sandra. How you doing today? Or I guess tonight. See how easy that was for 30%? Like, I just did the same input multiple times, and a lot of people aren't too keen on that. Unstoppable is a mid that kind of... That's an annoying launcher, yeah. Just wait until you see what Superman's trade actor does. And that crosses up. But Unstoppable, he doesn't have the choke from Injustice 2 off of Act 2. It's just a couple of quick mid wallops, which can special cancel into certain attacks like the Super Punch. And that's it for his strengths. That's all he's got. Special moves is where this guy excels, however. I'm not going to tag that one. This one's kind of more of a normal. We'll see. Okay, so that ought to be enough for now. Super Breath. Mid, 10% damage, knocks back pretty far. Knocks back basically full screen, so Superman can start zoning. But, you dig an Injustice combos, then you'll like it. Then, here's a really good example of a really good one. That was 1 bar. And, yes, when you amplify it, that's freeze. So in a way, Superman is Sub-Zero? In a weird way, because he's freezing people to get his combos, unlike Batman's Scorpion, where Batman uses his grapnel, which acts as a reverse spear. And we'll get to Scorpion later, because, believe it or not, he's in this game. And since I talked about Super Breath, I'm going to clear that, just because. And here we go. Heat Vision. A quick scrape of heat vision across the ground. This will eventually hit full screen, and you can also amplify it to make an overhead that sends opponents flying back again to full screen to continue your zoning. Do you play Injustice 2? I do play Injustice 2 every once in a while. It's quite nice. But we're focusing on Injustice 1 because this game is free, and a lot of people are going to be playing this game. Actually, real quick, I need my water. I'll be right back! But in the meantime, watch the super move. Water, the most important equipment for any streamer. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. Right. So we'll talk about that super move later. I just wanted to do that because I didn't want to leave you guys hanging while I grab my water. Flying Punch! This is a mid in this game. This isn't a high. And for those of you who are afraid of MK11 Jacks, while this is slower, I'm a boy, did you know? I did not. Very good for letting me know, Sandra. Pop, pop, pop. That's your mid. And then you amplify it, and you get an overhead. You get 2 overheads! I think it's hilarious that the second punch is actually, that the third punch is an overhead. And then there's Flying Ground Smash. This is an alternate to your traditional jumping attacks that allows for combos. And you amplify it. Oh, you're on your mom's account. Okay. Be warned, though, kid. We swear. Why is Jackson Heron basically in this game? I hate it here. Oh my god. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm only making comparisons here. These guys don't actually play the same. It's just that you can see the inspiration for later moves. You're 14. Alright. I didn't mean to offend at all. Yeah, that's Flying Ground Smash. This is your way to end combos. If you do... You know what swear words are. Got it. It's all good, man. It's all good, buddy, old pal, old friend. It's better to be safe than sorry. Throw. Yes. Throw. Basic throw. No big deal. Heat Zap. This is slower, but it does 12% damage and is a high. And it's very fast when it does come out. Because it's just a quick pulse. But this can't amplify. Unlike normal heat vision, which can also be done in the air. In order to do that. Low scoop meterlessly launches opponents. So throw those in the area. I don't know what that means. Sorry, Sam. Basic example with low scoop. Now let's talk about that super move, shall we? I'm not going to play it again this time, but I'm going to talk about this move. It's 5 frames at close range. It's very, very fast. Oh, throw them... Oh, throw those through the wall. You want the stage transit. We'll get there in a little bit. But yeah, this is a very fast combo ender. It's armored. He goes in. It's full screen. Your best bet is to either block it or jump if you're really good with your timing on that. Then you have his air dash. This allows him some tricky air maneuverability. He can only do 1 per, so if he jumps over, he can pull like a reverse cross-up situation. Oh, combos. We'll get there. We'll get there. Trust me. I'm just doing overviews of every character in case, you know, the people who are watching have not seen any Injustice stuff before. Oh, it's gonna be a long one too because there's only 2 characters. We're already at 46 minutes, so hope you're in for the long haul, folks. Fury of Krypton. This is a buff. Doesn't look like he's doing much, but what this does is it increases Superman's damage by 33%. And it breaks armor on everything, which is huge because if your name is Lex Luthor and your trait is basically armor, you get to break armor. You get to break the armor and continue your combo, which means Superman can basically just remove the option to use armor when this is active and get more damage. Which is nuts, because 2 of his villains, Lex Luthor and Doomsday, rely on armor. So there you go, that's 50% that way. Now we'll talk interactables because that's important for the stages, and this is our first time visiting Metropolis, so here we go. Where, oh where? Oh where, oh where, oh where? Left. Okay, so you see this car here? Superman's a power character. You think he's gonna jump off of that? No. It's slow as hell, but it's 22% damage, and if he spends meter, spending 2 bars of meter to get armor in order to smash people. You played it on Vita. Is it for the Vita, or did you do shared play? In any case, next up we have the gun in the background. I wouldn't recommend this too much because this bad boy scales really hard, but it allows for combo conversions when the scope is blinking. We travel to the middle of the stage. There's nothing here. This whole area is a no-go. This flying car, however, you can either blow up or smash depending on the class of character you are. Unless you're an acrobat character, then you don't really do anything. And if you're wondering if it's a one-time deal like the car, I forgot to mention the car back there is just a one-time deal. No, it isn't. It comes back eventually. And there isn't really anything you can do here, I believe, unless you're a gadget or acrobat character to... I got to ages. I don't know if, off the top of my head, if Batman or Joker would be able to leap off of this. Maybe we'll revisit that. But it's neither here nor there. It's time for a stage transition. And remember, these are basically meterless super moves, but you gotta be in the prime back 3. Now we're on the rooftop part of Metropolis, and this is a little infamous too. You can blow up this transformer, or grab the wires to send the opponents flying. I don't know what... I am not sure. Sandra will probably elaborate though. They seem good. These drones. As of ages ago. Okay, I got you. Those drones are color-coded, and gadget or acrobat characters love the drones because they do different things. For instance, if I can refresh this and go back to the center. when a drone does come back, this red drone will cause fire and is unblockable, and it won't destroy the drone. Unlike if your name is Superman, and you just throw it for unblockable damage. The general theme with power characters is deniability. You shut down interactables, whereas gadget and acrobat characters make full use of the interactables. Your name is Zach. Nice to meet you, Zach. Now it's time for another stage transition. Now it's weird because we're on the right-hand side of the stage and the street is back that way. What gives? Well... welcome to the museum. And fun fact, if you look in the back right where Superman is, if you look really closely, you can see Shinnok's amulet. I think that's just funny. Here are a bunch of artifacts, and you can destroy them. For instance, this really old car up here, destroyed. Now this is blocking my way, this Robin display. Not anymore. Like the Batcave, this opens up a huge... This opens up stuff. This opens up a small part of the stage, but unlike in the Batcave, you don't really get anything out of that. But let's move forward. Or rather, backwards. Power or gadget characters will throw the rotor of this helicopter down. Power characters? We'll just throw the whole damn tail. And just like the Batcave, there's an interactable that's locked behind something here. And it's a rocket launcher. I don't think we're going to get it out of there just yet. But if that rocket launcher comes out, it becomes an interactable as well. Now it's time for the final stage transition. And yes, Metropolis has 3 stage transitions. No other stage in the game has 3 different stage transitions. And here we are back at street level. Oh, and the car does regenerate, I guess, because you gotta hit the car. But it doesn't regenerate until you do those 3 transitions. I am Brian! Sorry. Just gotta close a few of these notifs. Lad? Lasses? I don't know. But that's Superman and the Metropolis stage. Let us move on! Let us move on. To another power character, Wonder Woman.
Aries.
And we're gonna do Gotham City next. Why? Because we can. Alright, so, Wonder Woman. She is very different from how she is in Injustice 2. She's an entirely different character. She is a stance character, one of only 2 in the game. For instance, the only other one is Nightwing, and we'll get to him eventually tonight. But Wonder Woman is, again, a stance character. She she has 112, for instance, or 112. And there's actual active differences between why you'd want to be in sword or lasso stance. Scorpion! We'll get to that. So what does stance character mean? It means that they rely on different stances in order to do different things for different combat situations. So Wonder Woman in this stance, her sword and shield stance, she can't do certain things that she can do in lasso stance. But she gains extra benefits if she is in the sword and shield stance that she wouldn't get if she were in lasso stance. She can't do this in Injustice 2 because they made her basically just in the sword stance all the time, with a little bit of lasso thrown in for good measure. And that is actually her character trait. Her character trait is just style change. It's just a change between sword and shield stance. Overall, in lasso, she's more mobile and deals higher damage, but she takes less damage if she's in shield form because she's taking less block damage. So, if I were to, if it were possible, oh yeah, I can. So I'm going to be Aries for just a little bit here, and I'm going to set her to, block, the string. See the damage that it does there? In comparison to when she switches stance, if I can make her do that. It's who? Nightwing? Because if you're thinking Nightwing, then yes, it is quite sad. Okay. See, she takes 2/3 less chip damage. She takes 2/3 less damage in her sword and shield stance, which is huge because that could save your bacon in a fight. Be the difference between life and death in this game because chip kills. So because she has so many different things, I am actually going to go over her normals in each version of her. So, excuse me, we have Warrior's Jab, Amazon's Fist, Shin Kick, which can be... oh, that can't be delayed. Cross Punch, Lasso Slam, and then... oh, Scorpion, yeah. And then we have her various launchers, her crouching attacks, and how they change. And her air attacks change too, because remember, she's in a completely different stance. We have jumping 1, we have jumping 2, we have jumping 3. Delightfully nasty, no? And the thing is that if you want to change to her lasso stance without leaving yourself kind of open, because it takes time to do this, do a throw. Both of her throws will put her back in lasso stance, and we'll always have her in lasso stance, so bear that in mind. Whereas in sword stance, we have basic swipe, we have light, medium, heavy, wall bounce, which is one of a handful that does 2 hits, overhead, swipe, uppercut, and sweep. Now, it says it does less damage, but that's just because there's less combo ability here. Then we have Quick Kick, Sword Swipe, and Sword Swipe 2. Electric Boogaloo. But... now, we have Wonder Woman. These are Wonder Woman lasso strings. Launch them back with Ends of the Earth. Pop them up with Gods and Mortals. Warrior Princess doesn't really do much, but it's a nice, fast conversion. Oh, she kind of is, actually. Yeah, Zatanna kind of is a stance character. But unlike Wonder Woman and Nightwing, hers is on a timer, which is really weird. I don't understand why they did that, but it is what it is. There's Festus Rush, which won't come out on whip. Do I share? Share what exactly? Oh, Destiny Calling launches multiple times. Do I swear? I do when I get excitable, but no, you spelled it right. You spelled it right the first time there, Zach. But I do swear on occasion, but I don't. I try not to swear as often as I used to. Athena's Wisdom, just another quick pop-up conversion. So, if you want a really good, okay, so it's a down-forward option in this game. If you want a really quick combo with Wonder Woman, here's what you do. You do Gods and Mortals, then Athena's Wisdom, then Destiny Calling into the lasso, which will look something like this. Nice and simple, no meter, 32% damage. This is what they mean when lasso does more damage. There's more combo potential in lasso variation. And then in Sword, we have Fires of Hestia, Go in Peace, Strength of the Sword, Eyes of the Hunter, By the Gods, Aegis, Wrath, and Justice, which Justice is not going to show up. Fires of Hestia. is just a quick, kind of pop-up. Probably better if there's a little more gravity in the situation. Go in Peace is an overhead knockdown, sends the opponent back. And again, you can do what you want off of it. Holy fuck! See? I can swear. What does it say? Strength of the Sword. This is just a quick, get off of me. Oh, wait until you see some of the other stuff I can pull with certain characters. It gets nuts in this game. Eyes of the Hunter. Similar situation. Kind of a launcher situation. And then there's By the Gods. Which... you can't really get anything off of this, but it's a good ender, so... let's see. I don't know if you can get much off of it in the ways of combos, but... thank you. And then you have a lower head in Aegis Wrath, and then a double low in Justice, which you can't really see here because you can only tag 6 moves, but it's there. But that does it for that, because now I have to talk about special moves. I'm actually... thank you. Well, I try to be nice. Oh boy. Where the hell do I start? So, now we're in special moves, and because Wonder Woman is a stance character, she kind of has her own variation system going on mid-match. So we have straight tiara. This is a quick projectile, she lobs her crown at you, and then if she amplifies... she doesn't really get a combo per se. She can't loop it like Tanya can in Mortal Kombat X, but you get the idea. She can get stuff off of this. So, let me see if I can... okay, yeah, I got it. Hang on. I swear they will kick me and block me so I cannot text people. Well, in this channel, I don't mind swearing. What I do mind is when people actively offend others and say nasty stuff, like truly nasty things. So, if you do say those nasty things, I'll get you to take a hike. But if you're just swearing, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, that's a cool combo. I'm not gonna kick you out for that. Anyway, okay, that almost didn't work, but you get the idea. You get a combo extension. Then you have Amazonian Uppercut, which I don't think you can get anything off of this afterwards. No, you can't. This is an ender. This is just a raw-ass ender. And if you amplify, you send them back full screen. Wonder Woman doesn't want to be full screen because she doesn't have a traditional projectile. She actually doesn't have a way to... her best way, the thing is, she has to get in. She doesn't have a full screen projectile like Batman or Superman do. So you gotta keep that in mind. Like, fuck you, like that. That's where it gets divisive. Like, if you're saying that to me for no reason, I'd have to ask why. Like, hey, man. But if you're, like, defending yourself in the chat, I can see that. You know what I mean? That's a gray area one. But you're distracting me. Not to be mean, but distractions! Yeah. Amazonian Smash. Doesn't seem to... there it is. I guess I just gotta do it deep, and then it can cross up. Hold up, can I combo off of this? No, I can't. At least not in the way I can think of. No, I can't combo off of that. That's fine. Lasso Grab, I already talked about. But if I amplify...
to Hades with you.
This... yeah, I gotcha. No.
Mother says hello.
Mother says hello to Ares. That's all... yeah, I presumed that's what was going on. That's why I wasn't like... it's like, hey, what are you doing? So...
face it, you're done.
so what this does is it temporarily... buffs the damage of lasso attacks and scrambles the opponent's controls as well. So lasso grab is a really strong ender. Lasso spin at close range is a pop-up. So, thank you. So you can get pop-ups going with lasso spin. And then Bracelets of Submission is a projectile parry. If it catches, it will increase Wonder Woman's damage for a very short time, but it increases damage. I'm going to do this real quick. Oh, that's really fast. What, the buff? Because that's also here too. Whee! That's really fast. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is basically like the only thing that stuck around in Injustice. In Injustice 2. That was about it. Zoop! That's a really good way to kind of close the distance on zoners. Just zip it across the screen. Especially if you kind of instant air it, or not quite instant air it, but wee-wah! And then all of a sudden, like if you're at full screen, if you do it from a jump in, now all of a sudden you're back in their face. That's what that's really good at. And it's really fast, as you can see. Like almost obscenely fast. And then there's... And you can almost counter zone from the air, which you have an air dash, so in this variation, so you can do down tiara or straight tiara as well. And we're almost done. I promise, we're almost done talking Wonder Woman. But we need to talk about her special moves in sword variation and what good they do. Shield toss, Amalthea bash, shield strike, up shield, down shield. Oh yeah, we haven't done super move either, and we might as well. So in sword, we have sword toss, which is like a slightly better version of the tiara in that I can get combos off of it. You see what I mean? Weebot? No, I went whee when I did that. That might have been what happened there. Amalthea bash. A midnight knocks down. So this is a good way to end your combos for a very brief time. This shield strike doesn't look like anything special, but what it actually does is just want to see something real quick. But oh, what the heck was I doing here? Ah! Yes, I was going down here to shield strike. This is a fast, low damage attack that has the added benefit of parrying high attacks. If the shield strike parries an attack, Wonder Woman will automatically follow up with a sword strike. Which means this is going to be tricky as heck. But I'm going to see if I can show it off. There we go. Wee-wah! Yeah, that's what... by the way, that's what that parry kind of looks like. If she parries a high attack, she gets a combo that launches back. Up shield, nothing to write home about. Anti-air shield. Down shield, same thing. And that's it for special moves. Now let's watch a super move, which used to be one of the most damaging in the game. And it still is at 38%, so... Her jump arc is wonky in this version. Will this still hit? No, that doesn't, right? Come on. Come on. Come on. I'm gonna get this. This'll do it. Super move combos. For almost 50%. Do you know what Ichbei means? Do you mean... what? No, I do not. I don't know what you're talking about. Now it's time for this... I did not. The more you know. Anyhow, the dumpster. This thing, for power and gadget characters, is a friggin' lifesaver in this stage. Because this can be zipped all across the stage and it does really good damage. However, if you're a power character, you just destroy it. Which is good if you're in a power versus gadget character matchup because you can remove this option entirely. In order to prevent power gadget characters from using it. The fire hydrant. Power characters will turn it on to send the opponent back. We just throw it if we're a power character. This sign, the... I don't mind, but if it's bothering you, then it's all good. What was I saying? Right, so the arrow is what you would throw if you're a gadget or acrobat character. If you're a power character, go big with the hotel sign. Now, let's get you over here to this Ace Chemicals truck. If you're a gadget character, you throw the canister behind me. If you're a power character, you just punch a big hole in it to send the opponent back. Now let's launch the opponent into a stage transition. Now that we're on the rooftop of Gotham City, we have more toys to play with. This is a launcher interactable where characters launch themselves off of it if they're gadget or power characters, or gadget or acrobat characters. Or, if they're a power character, it just becomes a projectile. Similar sort of story with this bat signal. The bat signal is you grab the opponent and slam them into it if you are a gadget or power or acrobat character. If you're a power character, you just chuck it and then it ends up getting yoked into the street. This stage has a background bounce off the helicopter, which allows you to get your combos that way. And then there's two different ways to get this water tower down if you are, depending on who you are. If you don't have super strength, traditionally, you just kick out the support to the water tower and make it fall. But if you do have super strength, i.e. Wonder Woman, you just make it splat onto the opponent. And then, we have a stage transition on the right-hand side. And now we're back down here. Alright, next up we have Green Lantern. Boy, did this character change a hell of a lot during, from Injustice 1 to Injustice 2. And I do mean a lot. So, we'll go to Sinestro. And since we didn't go there for Wonder Woman, we'll go to Themyscira right now. Hang on, somebody requested a link to this. I will send this real quick and then we will... Bam! Alright. Green Lantern! This guy's known as Jack of all trades because of all of the crazy construct gimmicks that he has going on. But he does have one unique thing, and that's his standing heavy can be delayed. This doesn't increase damage or anything, but you can use it during block strings to fake out the opponent and hit them with stuff. That's kind of the basic idea. I know he's now bad on Injustice 2. He's not bad. He's lower mid, but what mostly changed with him is his special moves, and we'll get to that now. Volley Smash is the string you're probably going to see a lot of Green Lanterns use during their combos, because this transitions nicely. Justice is Served is a lower head, and this is the traditional, and then Parallel Nature is a traditional pop-up. You'll see a lot of Green Lanterns use this because, you know, it's a pop-up that's special cancelable, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Hyperbolic, which I just realized is actually part of a string. Drop that real quick. We have Grand Slam, which is a good ender on its own, but on the third hit, you can cancel it into a special move. Guardian is mid, overhead, mid to send them flying, or catch them with a certain special move. Brightest Day, super move. We'll get to the super move, and we'll get to the super move at the end of the special moves discussion, as always. So, have patience, Zach, but we will get there. I don't see this string being used all that often, but I kind of like using it just because of the flail, and it does send them pretty far back so Green Lantern can get his zoning on. And that's it for his combos. Now let's talk special moves real quick. Okay, so it looks like we're not going to be able to see it. So O is Rocket. It's a straight projectile. Easy to use, covers a lot of ground, goes pretty quickly. There is an air version as well, but it goes downwards, which hits overhead and explodes off the cuff. And just his super is not powerful. Oh yeah, I see what you mean, because it just womp. Yeah, it's slow, but they made it into an overhead, so you could potentially catch somebody crouch blocking in that game. Rocket Power. By the way, this was replaced with his Lantern Blast in Injustice 2. In Injustice 2, this, I believe, was... I don't remember exactly what this was. No, this was the these were the Lantern Bombs. And now, and these are two construct rockets that collide with each other. Close, mid, or far. And then if you amplify, you throw a third rocket that will collide with the opponent regardless of if the others hit and knock them down. And because of that, I'm actually going to quickly drop the Rocket Power ones, because we got to talk Turbine Smash. Lantern's Might. This is the only super move, or special move, that made the transition from Injustice 1 to Injustice 2 competitively. And when you amplify it, you get a pop-up. But Lantern's Might is especially affected by his trait, which we'll get to in a little bit. Replacing his low bowling ball, which was his which was his better projectile in Injustice 2, is the minigun. Quick mids. Do a couple of sweeps. This isn't gonna... That's kind of the maximum range from about here. But a good way to end grounded combos. Then Turbine Smash. Allows Hal to kind of fly in on a jet turbine. Great for counter zoning to kind of get in from the air, unless you bop the opponent with it, in which case it sends them back. But it still gives you advantage. But if you expect the person to block Turbine Smash, which I believe is minus on block, let it go to turn it into a projectile with meter. And that's almost it. Keyword is almost, because we have Green Lantern's Light. This trait right here. This buffs Green Lantern's damage by 10% and changes the properties of a couple of key special moves. Namely, Lantern's Might. This is special cancelable when you do it. And then you have, if you just do it raw, Lantern's Might pops up without meter.
Green Lantern's Light.
See? Look at that. That was for 1 bar, 41%. But it does require some recharge time. And that's why Green Lantern's trait, I think, is really strong, because it buffs him overall. Now, what a lot of Green Lanterns will do is that they'll do this. Because back 1-3 is special cancelable. So you cancel into trait, you get the launcher.
Beware my power.
You see what I mean? And now would actually be a really good time to talk about the clash mechanic, because if you're down to your second health bar, because there's no traditional rounds in Injustice, there's who wears down 2 health bars in one drawn-out round, the opponent has a chance to break a combo.
Human scum. Evil and racist.
They'll talk smack, you wager your meter, and whoever wagers the most amount of meter wins.
Like the Guardians, you're inept. Still mad they booted you?
Then the more you bet, the more damage you do. I always highly recommend...
Enjoy your final moves. You're gonna feel this.
that you don't wager much more than 2 or 3 bars at a push, because eventually it's just like you just wasted it on a super meter. And if the defender wins, which I'm going to set them to win. I'm going to set them to win somehow. How do I set them to win the clash, do you suppose? Oh, I know. I know how I can make this work. I think. I'm reasonably sure I know how to make this work. If I do clash, and then I do the clash, I can demonstrate it that way, yeah. Activate it like a combo breaker.
Nice freaking hair. You will die screaming.
I won, so I get 30% of my health back as the defender. So that's where the clash mechanic comes in. Each character gets one of these per match. And outside of practice mode, but that's just because practice mode is whatever. So that's what the clash is really good for. You just have to be mindful of your meter so that you don't accidentally burn it all for no reason. You know what I mean? So you got to be extremely careful, which leads me to this little gambit.
You will die screaming. Nice freaking hair.
You press the amplify button twice, and you place a fake wager. This is really good for this is kind of good for messing with people, because that it might make them scared to not wager at all, because then what's the point? Especially if you're the defender. However, fake wagering means that you don't actually wager any meter at all. And if the opponent suspects that, they can take that away from you. So you need to be careful with that. That's the last mechanics thing I needed to talk about. Let's do super move. AoE, so it catches teleporters, which is going to be important when we get to a certain character. Doesn't do that much damage on its own, but hey, it's actually not that bad. Now we're on Themyscira. Let's talk interactables. Lion's heads, they do damage, or if you're a gadget character, you pull on the chain to breathe fire. Background bounce with these lovely ladies in the back. Sorry, girls. But there you go. You get a background bounce that way. Then there's this tree. You, as a gadget character like Batman, you will smash the opponent into the tree and send them full screen. If you're a power character, you just uproot it and smash them instead. And then we just gotta go. We gotta go all the way over here. You can either jump off of this and throw a bit of fire in their face, or throw the whole thing for damage. And you'll notice that those interactables also do a lot of damage. And this is also a really fast overhead in this game. Okay, that didn't end in the way that I wanted it to, so let's just boot him off. Alright. I also think that to try and... That's not really going to save us time, though. Now that we're down at the docks, different interactables. You can either stagger them with this, or, if they're close enough, just floor them for Oki. Same basic idea, same damage. You can light this cannon and send it flying. By the way, gadget characters will cut the rope, but it's the same basic effect. That's why I didn't mention it the first time. Or you could just drop the cannon on their heads. Either or works, really. Now, if we float over this way, there's 5 barrels full of gunpowder. You just lob these. You can just keep on lobbing these. However, the thing to keep in mind is that you only get so many of these. Once you run out of these barrels, they're gone. And I believe I can...
Beware my power. 3 lanterns light.
I believe I can also angle them downwards? I don't know. But yeah, now I'm out of those barrels. So you gotta keep that in mind. And power and gadget characters will roll them. Stage transition! There you go. Quick tour of Themyscira in the process, too. Next character. Next hero, I should say. Make sure of a few things. Okay. So, quick question for the audience and those watching. I know we've been here for a little while and we've only covered 4 characters. So there's 2 questions I actually want to do. Number 1, should I begin covering 2 characters per set? So for instance, the next character would be Shazam versus Black Adam, potentially. Should I cover Shazam and Black Adam? Or should I continue doing my one-at-a-time breakdowns? And should I go left from Green Lantern or right from Green Lantern? I'll leave it to you guys to decide. Excuse me. Let's get all crickly crackly. Do 2 at a time, and then go right. Okay. Coolio, coolio. Both and right. Hello, Mars! Welcome to the stream. If you're wondering what's going on, Mars, and why I'm doing these character breakdowns, it's because Injustice Gods Among Us Ultimate Edition is free on PS4 right now. So, if you want to learn a character, this is I've decided to just break down the stages and the characters and maybe influence you to learn some. So, we're gonna, I guess, do the DLC now, since that means we get to talk about some of the real nasties in this game. Because so far we've been talking about characters that are jack of all trades, masters of none, low to mid tier. Ooh, another fighting game movie. Come on, it's not that bad. Plus, I mean, it's free. You can't say no to a free fighting game, can you? JK, I'm not trying to pressure you or anything. But, Batgirl. Oh boy, Batgirl. And who better to pair it off with than Mortal Kombat's Scorpion, with a design by famed comic artist Jim Lee. And we're going to go to the first of 2 stages that are duplicates. Filler, as it were. We're going to go to the Joker version of Arkham Asylum. Other than the Jokerified paint job, this is exactly the same as base Arkham Asylum, in interactables and everything. So, it is what it is. So, and yeah, that's our boy Scorpion over there, and there's a reason why people are frustrated with him as new players, but we'll get to him later. We'll start with Batgirl. This character is one of the best characters in this game because she doesn't play by the traditional rules of the game. First off, she has a shitload of combo strings. I mean, look at this. Look at all of the crap she can do. It's kind of absurd. Then, she has a lot of special moves, which is going to be really useful when we get to the ridiculous stuff. And then her character power is really basic. It's either, do you want more chip damage, or do you want more raw damage? So, Batgirl. We have... Oh, did I not tank that? Okay, we have Miss Gordon. Basic jab string. Keeps him grounded. Does pretty good damage. And, of course, can be canceled into special moves. Then we have No Man's Land, which puts Batgirl airborne. Which means... if I can... allows aerial special move cancels. And that move right there is going to be very important in a little bit. And then you have the overhead. This, although I don't think this comes out when the opponent blocks it. I'll take a look. Set them to always. Okay, so it does come out on block, which is good, because that means you can kind of tricksy them with Foxy Origin as a mid that sends them all the way back. Now, as we know, a lot of characters in this game like to zone. And Batgirl, in particular, is dangerous to those characters, but we'll explain more later. Red-handed. We have the overhead version, or a quick Fujin-style sweep. So this is her mixed strength. And then another knockdown, string. She's got a lot of these that kind of knock the opponent down and give her advantage. Then we got Dark Secrets, Mentor's Method, No Joke, Hard Way, Noir Thrill, and Virus Purge. So I had to go back in here just to get all the friggin' combo strings. Dark Secrets. That is a very odd number. Is that... Okay, good. So it doesn't actually scale all that much. Then we got No Joke. An overhead that can launch quick. Stumpy. Oh, it may be stumpy, but this is still an overhead. That lets her combo. Then we have Lowerhead, which can combo. Hello. Noir Thrill. Good damage. Thing. We'll get to that too. And then Virus Purge, which sends the opponent backwards. Now we get to her real bread and butter. The special moves. And I think I should actually save Bat Evade for later, because Bat Evade has a lot of stuff off of it, so... So, we have air variant, the normal smoke bomb and the air smoke bomb.
Here we go.
See anything about this? It's a teleport. And teleport that comes from above. This is the ultimate counter zoning tool. And remember, in this game, characters are super projectile happy, especially when there's things all around that they can throw at you. They don't even need to have their own projectiles. But what makes Batgirl scary is that she can read a projectile and punish it with a full combo. You know. If I didn't suck. That's just a super basic example. Sonic Fox mained this character back when back when they played Injustice 1, and this character's scary in their hands, just so you know. Air Smoke Bomb, same basic principle. So you jump over a projectile and get your teleport. Batarang! Basic projectile. This also allows Batgirl to zone, which is hilarious, because I could be zoning, throwing projectiles, and then you want to throw your own projectile. Lol, nah. I get my combo. Screw you. I get my combo. You suck. that's. And then you have different ranges for her batarangs to cover the sky or closer range to her. Flying bat. I think this is an invincible wake up. And even worse, she gets combo extensions off of this too. And then there's redemption, which is what you've seen me end combos with. It's just a flurry of punches. But see what I mean? Combo extensions everywhere with this character. And we're not even done yet. I guess I can't tag the different options. That's shitty. Yeah. Okay. So, bat evade. This helps her evade. Anti-air with the kick. To send them back. Evade with anti-air scatter bombs. I can actually do this. This would knock them down. And of course they're scatter bombs, so pretty good way to stun opponents. And then you have the overhead that knocks them down. Good at close range, or if you predict the opponent's coming in, boom, do that. Now if I amplify,
Here we go.
I can avoid an attack,
Here we go.
and then get a smoke bomb. Because, you know, this character needs more ways to get around zoning. I mean, that's all well and good. Then we have Bat Wheel. Mid to overhead, just a quick combo ender. But you can go low or knock them back. Can't special cancel into anything. But you get the idea. You have your basic overhead to catch them with that, a high for damage, or a low to catch them off guard. And then there's Bab's Bola. You delay this, and then restrain the opponent. So, you get you see what I mean? You get ridiculous combo extensions with this character, and there isn't a background bounce on this stage either. So you would see some really dumb stuff with this character. That's why she's one of the top characters in the game. She counter zones like a mother. She has all kinds of crazy combo options and good damage. And if she has you on the defensive, she can increase her chip damage. Madness, no? That's why this character is really good. But her general weakness is that, but she's really strong. She doesn't really have that much of a weakness. The only thing that might turn people off is that her super move has to be done in the air. So you might think, well, how am I going to combo? Really? You don't have to worry about that. Yeah. So I just gotta... So yeah.
Hold this for me.
You're welcome. And remember, no background bounce either. On a stage with a background bounce, this character becomes straight up dangerous. Now, of course, I wouldn't recommend wasting all of your bar for 35%, but this is just to illustrate the purposes, right? I am not a expert in Injustice by any means. I just know a little bit of the game, and I hope that I can teach you enough to experiment on your own and look for other resources on, like, look for the Sonic Fox matches and see how the hell did they kick so much ass with Batgirl? Which shouldn't be that hard because Batgirl in Injustice 1 is amazing. But now let's talk about the Asylum stages, because they have the same interactables. So, pass the piggy! Once upon a time, me and my friends would just do this all the time. Just, don't bother. Why fight? We just play pass the piggy. Because this is hilarious. This is an oven, and then you can plant a bomb on it as well. And that's about it. The masks. Every character can throw these masks, which seems like it shouldn't be a thing that Batgirl should be able to do, but whatever. The chandeliers can be thrown if you're a power character or evaded off of if your name is a power character, a gadget character. Good way to kind of traverse the stage. There's no interactable near the door, but there is a stage transition. Yeet! Veritable who's who in that mess hall. Now that we're in the main lobby, we have various things we can do from here as well. We have Poison Ivy's cell to kind of stagger the opponent, or if you're a power character, you throw the flower, if you're a meanie. If you're a power character, you throw this gurney, or if you're a gadget character, leap off of it, or make it go bang, or in some cases, because I didn't cover this with Batman, actually, I probably should go back and have a look. Yeah, I should go back, because Batman, Deathstroke, the Flash, and the Joker have unique interactions with those kinds of projectiles, with certain interactables that no other character does. And I think I might actually go back to highlight it with the villains that I didn't highlight with last time after we do DLC, just to move things along. Just like in the Batcave, you can plant bombs on these, or throw the TVs themselves in order to use them as explosives. Mr. Freeze's cell has aerial unblockable freeze, but the damage scaling is ridiculous, so you gotta be careful with that. And then the stage transition. I'll see you in Injustice 2, Scarecrow! And that is the stage, but that's not all of the characters. Because now, we talk about Scorpion. And you know who Scorpion is. He's from Mortal Kombat, he's the icon, there's a reason why he's here. Now the thing is that he actually kind of moves slowly in this game. Like, his dashes are where his movement is key. His general walking speed is abysmal. Look at this. I understand being cautious, but you know, just dash. Just dash the Scorpion. Even if you can't dash cancel, really. You know what I mean? And you might have noticed that his pose and some of the way he animates is very familiar. That's because he is Mortal Kombat 9 Scorpion. They didn't give him an original moveset. Per se, which means that he actually has a few unique things. So, you remember back in Mortal Kombat 9, all of the buttons were mapped to each of the 4 buttons here based off of the limbs. But because it's light, medium, and heavy, that's not necessarily not all of the moves can translate. But Scorpion was the only Mortal Kombat character to be translated that got all of his pokes. So we have poke, uppercut, and sweep. But we also have his crouching 3 from MK9, and his crouching 4 from Mortal Kombat 9, as well as his back 4, and so we got down 1, down 3, down 4, and down 2, and back 2, off, and back 4, just off of crouching. So he has a lot of options when he's down on his knees. Not proposing to Babs. Can I do Injustice 2 super move combos? I can. And if you browse around on my channel, Zach, I should have a compilation of all of them somewhere, so you should be able to find them pretty easy. But back to Injustice 1, we have Scorpion with a lot of strengths, and a lot of them you'll recognize. Torment! His old, yes, with DLC. I did everybody. Look up my ultimate compendium on how to hurt the Joker. It's all there. And we'll talk about that spear change later as well. But now that actually combos into things. It doesn't leave the opponent open. Detonation also combos into things. Dead End is his quick hit string. This was 3-3-4 in MK9. Brimstone is just his quick string, and then this was his old cancel, but it doesn't go into teleport anymore. It only goes into spear. And then Soulless is a new string, where it's just a low version of that. And then you have Revenge, which is also a new string. No worries, Zach. Revenge is a 4-hit string, which can be canceled at any time into any... into whatever he wants. You sub? Excellent. Thank you very much. Where was I going with this? Okay, and that's basically the strengths. Now you might be thinking, wait, there's a few things missing. Where's his flip kick after that? And where's his overhead sword strike? His overhead sword strike is his forward 3. It's his forward heavy. So he can do this to launch the opponent. Just like in Mortal Kombat 9. He can't chain them together because they're slower, but they do twice as much damage. And his wall bounce, big boy punch. But now for special moves. You gotta keep digging. It might not be in the immediate locale. You know what? Here, I will post a link. I'll post a link in the chat, and you should be able to follow it into. You should be able to follow that link to watch that video. So there you go. Link is there. And that's for anybody who wants to watch it as well. But I brought you all here to learn Injustice. I understand it's going to take a little while, so I do apologize. But all of his Mortal Kombat 9 special moves are here. Oh yeah, and he has the jump kick is now his light, and jump punch is jump punch. So this is one of those times where the cross up is off of light, so you trade damage for a cross up, or a double cross up in this case, which your defense has to be on point here, because we'll be talking about that in a little bit. Or you go for damage. So no, not in that video, sadly. I purposely did it without any indicators on it. But there should be a damage indicator in the Injustice 1 part of that video. Sorry, Zach. But let's move on to the special moves. We have Bloody Spear, which is Closest thing to a projectile he has. And yeah, it doesn't... He has to spend the bar in order to combo. With a lot of scaling, might I add. So be mindful of that. Particularly if it's a throw. So be mindful of that. Hellfire. Unblockable and good for catching opponents trying to do unsafe stuff. Can't catch opponents in the air, but can OTG on Amplify for a good restand. Teleport Punch. Yes. We'll get to character power in a minute. Hang on, we're gonna get to that stuff in a second there, Zach. I want to talk about the importance of this attack. This used to be a free cross-up. When he launched, this was a free cross-up every time. And yes, that did mean cross-up combos. Which is scary for a character like Scorpion to have free cross-ups all the time at this speed. Especially since Injustice's online was more like MK9's online, i.e. delay-based trash. So, no reacting to this. This was the problem. They did make it so that now it's a little bit easier to do this, but you have to watch for it. Watch for the teleport, and you should be able to punish it on block. Still. Especially if he goes for the launcher. Leg takedown. It's fast. It can't be meter burned like unlike an MK9, but it just goes further. It just goes further. It's amplified all the time, basically. Why is Scorpion not in Injustice 2? I guess because they just wanted Sub-Zero and Raiden, and they don't tend to repeat DLC, so that's the key reason there. And then here's where the flip kick went. Special move. It's a really good anti-air, so you can do stuff like that string is back, and you can use it as an enter, so... let me see if I can do this right. Yeah, I can get this. Yeah. Oh yeah, and his... Oh, yeah. See, I keep thinking of the MK9 input, which is 421, but no, it's 422 in this one. You can see what I mean when I get... that sort of damage. But the thing is that, remember, the spear scales really hard. Can I put Damien on Injustice 2? He is in Injustice 2. He's Robin. You just haven't gotten far enough in that video. Or you want me to do a guide for Damien? I might do that for Injustice 2 if it ever comes on sale, but right now it's just Injustice 1. Oh, put damage on there. I'll see what I can do for next time. Yeah. Alright, so let's talk Shroud of Flames. Hellfire Scorpion. Hellfire Scorpion, is that you? This is where you're going to get a lot of damage from Scorpion. Because that's what this is built for. Oh, and I don't even have to spend bar for that? Okay, where do I live? I'm not going to tell you that one. I'm not going to tell you that. I don't tell people on stream where I live. I live near Downside. I don't know where that is. There we go. There's our damage. There's our damage. There's the damage. Now let's talk super moves. Let's talk super moves. Which is, welcome to the Nether Realm. I may check that out some other time. But right now I'm going to focus on the guides. So Scorpion's super move. Yes, it's a teleport. Yes, it's 11%. Sandra Carlo, I see that. You subtract me. And that's going to be your damage ender. Ooh. Oh, yeah. I think I'm just going to break my damage record with Scorpion here. Oh, I did! You got to practice the timing. That's all I can say about that. You just got to stay in the lab and practice your timing. Try different timings. Is it too early? Then dial it a little bit later. Oh, this is gonna hurt. Oh, that's gonna be even less. That could be even more damage. Ari! It's about the same. There it is. And try experimenting with gravity, because doing what I just did there seems to be more reliable. Experiment with your combos. On to the next set of characters. And actually, we're going to go back and revisit. And we're going to use this time to revisit. Oh, wait, we're good. We're not actually going to revisit, because not so good at combos. That's okay. I'll tell you this right now. Those of you watching in the audience. Everybody wants to know how to do combos in fighting games because they think knowing how to do combos makes them good. It doesn't. Think about it this way. What good is it for me to bring a gun to a knife fight if I can't hit the person with the knife? You know what I mean? I've got this super powerful, crazy, optimized thing that can stop a fight dead in one shot. I know, but this is important. And this is important regardless of that. If I can't hit you with my gun, yeah, sure. AK-40, yeah, I bring an AK-47 to a knife fight. But if I don't hit you with an AK-47, and you hit me every time with a knife, you're going to win. Why? Because I didn't hit you. I didn't have the fundamental thing that requires me to use a gun. I didn't have the right tools, or I didn't have the right accuracy, or I panicked. What you need to do to get good at fighting games in general is work on your fundamentals. Focus on your defense. Focus on getting good at blocking cross-ups and mix-ups. Lab that. Figure out the environment. Get comfortable with a character and figure out what their safest buttons are. Their safest, not their flashiest. Get your safest buttons figured out, and when you open somebody up, that's when you start to practice combos. And don't go for the flashiest combos right away. Start short, sweet, simple, and effective. Which, I'm actually going to go back to Batman, just to illustrate this point. I will tell you right now that it is better every time to have a combo you can land every time, even if it does a little bit less damage, than a combo you can't land every time that does crazy damage. Okay? So, with Batman, I'm going to use as an example, really quick. I can, for instance, go for my crazy combos. I could go for a crazy combo city. I could go do this, do that. but I miss. Or... five or six hit combo, that's fine. That combo seems simple. Now the thing is you also have to manage your resources, so I wouldn't actually recommend this exact combo. I'd find a balance. So what I would do is I would do this. See, that's a little more damage, and it side switches, and it does, you know, pretty decent damage. But maybe you want to, your definition of playing good is to keep out. Then just learn the combos that will knock opponents back so that you can get back to projectiles and zoning, right? And that's what I mean by focus on the fundamentals first. Focus on learning your defense. Try and see what the pro players are doing to learn their defense, and then implement the defense first before you socket your offense. Now, with that being said, okay, unfortunately, I think I might have to turn this into a series because it's at 2 hours and I'm beginning to run out of steam. I'm level 30 with every character in Injustice 2. So.
Zatanna.
Alright. I think what I might actually do for this stream is I'm actually going to end it on one more character, and then I might, throughout this week, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Throughout this week, I'm going to highlight 5 characters. 5 or 6 characters across the roster in order to talk about said characters. So, we're going to... Nice! We're going to finish up with Joker.
The Joker.
Because the Joker has something... We're going to finish up with the Joker and just the Joker. Because there's something with the Joker that the Joker can do, that Batman, Deathstroke, and Flash can do, that nobody else can do. And that involves their interactables. So we'll go to the interactables in the Wayne Manor for a second, because it shares an interactable with Metropolis. And I will show it to you real quick. So, Joker can do one of 3 things off of the car. Jump off the car, blow up the car, or set a bomb on the car, which apparently he can do multiple times for some inexplicable reason. Or he can use the car to side switch. Nobody else but Deathstroke, the Joker, and the Batman and the Flash can do a throw into something like this. The Flash has a unique version of this, but we're not going to get to the Flash tonight. We're going to focus strictly on the Joker for now. And before you ask, is he like the one in Mortal Kombat 11? No, he isn't. He's like the one in Injustice 2, like the one we thought Joker in MK11 was going to be. So a lot of these strings are going to seem a little bit wonky, but that's because they come from Injustice. Last laugh, and with, yeah, that kick is an overhead that knocks down, and is not special cancelable. Give Me a Smile has another overhead, which is special cancelable. Put it there, pal. Is a damage string, which knocks opponents back. And then, ha ha ha, has an overhead. Same basic idea, though. Full deck. Leaves him restand. And allows Joker yeah, with a shoe knife, no less. Boop. And then there's Shank Shank, which is unique because Shank Shank has 2 different things. You finish on the second hit, you still get a 3rd hit, or you get Shank Happy. And then, oh, I missed Jokes on You. We have a mid overhead, which knocks him down, and then Just a flurry of boots for no more jokes. Nothing too exciting. Both of his bounces involve the crowbar. And we'll see more of that crowbar in a moment or six. Crowbar is an overhead. Amplify to get more damage. Then we have Laughing Gas. Not the greatest projectile, but it works up until full screen. But I can shoot it to get a pop-up. Rolling Laughing Gas is better. Less damage, yes, but it's more consistent. And then you can still get your launch. Then I have Gun, which can be cancelled or just shot, but not amplified, unlike Injustice 2. Then, the real cream of the crop for the Joker. Chattering Teeth. A low pop-up, which pops up the opponent. So, you can see the trapping potential there. That's what the Joker's all about. For him, it's all about getting the traps and scaring the opponent. So, with those down, you might think to block low. But remember, the kick is overhead, so he can catch you with that. And that means you're left to his mercy, which Joker has none. So be careful. Be mindful and watch for the teeth. Joker's not a great character in this game, or in the last one, or in Injustice 2. But the trapping potential that Joker has in a skilled player's hands is terrifying. And then you have Acid Blossom. This is just a quick mid. It doesn't really do much, but restand the opponent. Nice and quick, but nominally just a damage ender. And then his character power is a parry. And it is bad. So, it's a one-button parry, sure. It increases movement speed permanently. Or for a little bit at least. And you can low parry. You know, you suck like I do. And now my jumps are crazy. Look at my jumps! Look at my walking speed. That's what changes. But you have to be good with your parry. If you're bad with your parries, don't pick up the Joker. And finally, we have his super move in the pie. Mid, full screen, stupid fast projectile. To help cover some distance. I'm actually going to end it there tonight because usually my stream limits are about 2 hours, but I'm going to keep going for the next little while. Next time we'll be covering the rest of the DLC characters and the rest of the characters that I missed in the first go-around. Thank you guys for tuning into this stream. Don't forget to be awesome, and I'll see you guys on the other side.